Hey, what's happening, y'all? We are live. At least that's what it says on my end. What's happening, y'all? We are. Looks pretty good. Sounds pretty good on my end. All right. So we got a very important stream, a lot of stuff to talk about, but I got some super chats coming in right out of the gate. Got Javid here, says, "What up, Jake? Too bad I missed the Alex Jones stream. Gotis has no humor and he's wrong about fasting and mushrooms. Props to you for catching me on his stream. I'm not subbed to his channels." No, it's all good. I have a side channel where I troll Gotis, and I used to be a big fan of his channel, actually, so I was looking for some ammo, and it was funny that he timed you out, and then he said to his audience that the Will Smith and Chris Rock slap was real. When, of course, we all know that shit is staged like pro wrestling, agreed to beforehand, and scripted. So, anyway, thanks for being here. Thanks for the donation. I think I missed another one, and I see one from PJC Net. Let me make sure I get Javid's other super chat. It says, "Gotta pause the stem cell therapy lecture for dis." Yeah, you better do that. We got an important one here. We got this fake raid of Trump's estate, which we'll get to here in a moment. PJC Net says, "Sadly, Trump isn't truly on the side of the people either. This should be an interesting stream. Thanks." Yes, I have never had that take. You guys know I have never been a Trump guy. I have never pushed or supported any politician on this stream, or actor, as I like to call them. So, yeah, you're not going to get any support for Trump from this side. Instead, you're going to get me exposing the whole thing, as he is just another puppet on the world stage. So, 6 days ago or so, Trump, his estate was raided by the FBI. His Mar-a-Lago estate was raided by the FBI. And personally, I just don't think it really was. So, in my opinion, after doing my own mini investigation, it doesn't look to me like his estate was really raided by the real FBI. So, for instance, like when I just go to watch some coverage of this, some of the first things I notice are these pictures where they just have regular police vehicles and then some dudes that look like they're wearing construction outfits here, standing out front, right? Posing for this picture. And it's this seems kind of weird. I figured the FBI would have unmarked vehicles and stuff. And what's with these construction vest looking dudes? Anyway, so just little details I noticed that just don't seem right about an FBI raid and how public they're making this, of course, going into election season. So rather than make a video at the time it happened saying, "You guys, I don't think this is real," and then just leave it at that, I wanted to see what the fallout is from this, where they were going with it. And it turns out it's a lot more severe than what I thought. They're turning this into a full-blown operation, which has... it's like a chain reaction of psychological operations. So I'm going to start with this, what I believe is a fake raid. That's my opinion, all right? I believe this is a fake FBI raid of Donald Trump's estate. So we'll start here, and then we'll work our way up to the events where someone supposedly went inside the FBI office with a nail gun, and now supposedly Trump supporters are threatening the FBI. We'll get to that. But we'll start with what I believe is a fake raid. Okay, and away we go.
In a statement, Trump said his home was...
Start from the beginning. I'll mute my mic.
Breaking news we're following at former President Trump's home in Mar-a-Lago, Florida.
The FBI is carrying out a search warrant related to how he may have handled presidential documents, including classified documents that he might have brought home from the White House. Xavier Walton is following this story from the newsroom, including what the former president is saying about all this. Xavier.
Yeah, this video is just into the newsroom, and you can see Trump supporters here gathering outside of the former president's home. Tonight, a legal analyst saying this is an unprecedented move in American history.
Sources tell CBS News the FBI executed a search warrant at former President Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate on Monday as part of an investigation into his handling of White House documents. Trump wasn't at his Florida residence at the time. Video here showing him leaving Trump Tower in New York Monday. Officials saying it was a run-of-the-mill search. In a statement, Trump said his home was under siege and that federal agents broke into his safe. Back in February, the National Archives asked the Department of Justice to investigate his handling of White House records. It came after officials retrieved 15 boxes of records from Mar-a-Lago that were meant for preservation under federal law. The papers include some classified material brought to the residence after the Trump administration departed the White House.
We've never had a private residence of a former president be searched by.
All right, we got a super chat coming in from Saul, and I agree completely with this statement. Says, if you believe the official narrative, they negotiated the search with his lawyers, so it wasn't a raid. But I agree, it's fake anyway. Next will be fake J6 events. So I don't think for a second that like Trump's house is really being searched or raided by the FBI. I think he's just an actor on the world stage, a puppet playing his part, and he knows that the FBI or the fake FBI, he knows that there's going to be police that are going to be at his house performing an operation. So he knows that his estate's going to be used as a stage, because the whole world's a stage. So they're going to be shooting some of the world play on the world stage at his residence. So he's in on the whole thing. So what I think this does is it tricks the Trump-tards and the Q-tards into believing that the deep state is attacking their guy. The deep state's going after their guy, man. Why are they doing this to the Lord Almighty Trump? So what this does is it, in the minds of the Q-tards and the Trump-tards, Trump supporters, it verifies in their heads at least that their guy's a good guy and there's an evil deep state trying to bring him down. So it's got like a dual effect here. With tricking the sheeple at home, they also are tricking the Trump-tards and Q-tards who are fake woke. All right, let's finish this up.
The FBI.
Jessica Levinson is a constitutional law professor and CBS News legal contributor. She says investigators had to have strong evidence for them to get a warrant for the former president's home.
What they need is probable cause that there was a federal crime that was committed and probable cause that the evidence of that crime is where they say it was, in this case at Mar-a-Lago.
And a senior White House official telling CBS News the West Wing was given no advance notice of the search warrant, and there's also been no word on what, if anything at all, was actually taken from the property. Reporting live here in the newsroom, Xavier Walton, KHU 11 News.
Okay, yeah, see, I don't believe that. So right off the bat, when I hear that the FBI is raiding Trump's house, I just say bullshit. And I'm allowed to say that. I have a right to say that I think that it's bullshit. And here's the deal. I'm not making any threats towards anybody. I just think it's bullshit. I'm not crazy. All right? I'm actually quite a smart man, because I can see through this charade and I can vocalize it and put it into words and explain it to an audience who's here watching right now. So, in my opinion, I would say that Trump's in on it. He's a puppet, and he knows that his house was going to be used for this event. So what are the ramifications of this? See, I didn't make a video right away because I wanted to wait and see what the fallout was, what direction they were going to go. And it turns out they went in a dramatically different direction than what I thought. And it's actually quite a serious deal, the direction they're taking this. They're really trying to radicalize the common Trump supporter, make it out like the common man, the common Trump supporter, is so angry that they're making threats to the FBI. And I don't believe that. So what they're saying is because Trump's house got raided, that Trump supporters are so angry that they're making threats to the FBI. And I say that is bullshit. I say the FBI is fake making threats against themselves with actors and accounts online which they control, so that they can then claim that they're on high-level alert because there's Trump supporters threatening them. See how that works? They can fake claim that so that then they can be on high-level alert, maybe even for some sort of martial law scenario even, right? Because of all the threats coming in because they fake raided Trump's house. Sure. Yeah, okay. So let's go ahead and show you what they're pushing. And like I said, this is turning into a bigger deal than I thought. I thought, oh, this is just some horse and pony show for the election coming up. But they're taking it further than I thought. So here's an event which they're saying was caused by a Trump supporter. And so this is directly tied to the fake raid of Trump's house. All right, so this one says, armed subject attempting to breach Cincinnati FBI office leads to pursuit and police situation. So background story on this, they say that a man with a nail gun, not an actual gun, but a man with a nail gun tried to go in the office of the FBI and attack them with a nail gun. So let's go ahead and listen to this charade. And then you guys will understand how serious this whole thing is getting. And by serious, I mean seriously fake.
Yeah, well, good afternoon. That's right. Just starting from the beginning here, this all started outside the FBI offices in Cincinnati. My colleague Brian Hamrick has been outside there all morning and will bring you the latest on that situation. Meanwhile, right here in Clinton County, it is important for people to know a lockdown does remain in effect. The lockdown is within a 1 mile radius of the intersection of Smith Road and Center Road. Police are telling residents and also businesses to remain vigilant, and they should lock their doors. I can tell you that we have confirmed law enforcement officers, they have traded shots with a male suspect who's wearing a gray shirt and also body armor. Now, again, from what we've been hearing after the incident started with some kind of threat at the FBI office, that guy fled northbound on 71, going through Hamilton County, making their way into Warren County and into Clinton County. We did hear some radio traffic that possibly that suspect was firing at officers that were following him north. Again, we're trying to get all of that confirmed. But the important part here in Clinton County is that people who live in the area that I just mentioned should lock their doors. We are here at the Cedar Creek Flea Market, which is several minutes away from the situation. They are keeping us back. This is the staging area. We are expecting a spokesperson with the Ohio State Highway Patrol to arrive here at any moment with
So if you caught that just a second ago, she said this is the staging area. I like that when they say shit like that. This is the staging area. So the story is that this suspect took a nail gun and walked into the FBI headquarters, the office, and decided to start shooting nails, I guess, at FBI agents. And then he left the office, somehow got in his vehicle, and then led them on a high-speed pursuit. So that means they get to tell the citizens in the area within a mile radius that they need to lock down, and they have to remain locked down in their house. And then, of course, she mentioned she's at the staging area. where they stage the news, of course.
And they are keeping us back. This is the staging area. We are expecting a spokesperson with the Ohio State Highway Patrol to arrive here at any moment with more information. Of course, as soon as we get anything confirmed or any more information, or if we find out this lockdown has been lifted, we will make sure to pass it along to you online and on the air. We're reporting live in Clinton County. Karen Johnson, WLWT News 5.
Karen, I know you just got on scene about 45 minutes ago. I saw on Brian Hamrick's live shot, and we'll get to him in just a couple of minutes. Homeland Security even going to that FBI site. Have you seen any activity outside of just Clinton County sheriffs or any other departments up there right now?
You know, there are some deputies around, but I have to be honest with you, they are keeping us pretty far back. We do not have a visual of the scene at the moment because this is this is a dangerous situation. So they are trying to keep the public, including us, the media, kind of away from the scene while they deal with this suspect. We did hear that maybe shots were fired. We don't know if the suspect was hit, but we know the lockdown does remain in effect. So again, of course, if we get any more information, we'll pass it along.
All right, Karen Johnson reporting for us. Karen, thank you.
All right, and that suspect believed to have made a threat towards the FBI building in Cincinnati.
And that's where we find WLWT News 5's Brian Hamrick, who's been able to speak with some people on scene and also let us know what the investigation looks like as it unfolds there. Brian.
Yeah, Kelly, well, the FBI has confirmed that there was a potential threat here. Apparently, a person armed with a gun showed up here. And then left. They haven't said exactly how long they were here. Let me show you what's happening right now here. This is the FBI Center in Kenwood, technically Sycamore Township. This is the evidence collection team. They're here. They've been out here for about 20 minutes or so. They seem to have a lot of interest in this window. This is in the checkpoint going into this FBI center. It's very secure here. There's a huge fence up around the place. You have to go through this checkpoint. Then there's another checkpoint as you go inside there. So it's a very secure facility here. Now, there are conflicting reports of the person wearing body armor. So some have said that he had body armor. Others say so. It's not clear exactly what this person was wearing when they got here. Also, not sure how long they were here or what exactly he did, if he got inside or if all of this happened in the parking lot. We've asked FBI agents about this. They haven't provided that information at this point. So at some point, though, this man took off from this area. Again, it's not clear whether FBI agents chased after him, but once he got onto 71 headed north, that's when the Ohio State Patrol took up the chase and then ended up there where Karen has been this afternoon. So for now, Homeland Security is here. They're federal police that show up to these protection for, it's called their Federal Protective Service Police. They're here. They're on the scene. We have video earlier this morning whenever the crew showed up, the very first crews to arrive.
All right, so you have to think, like, who in their right minds would show up to the FBI office with a nail gun anyway? Because that's like what the story goes on to say is, like, the dude shows up with a nail gun, shoots in the FBI office, and then leads them on a pursuit, and then eventually he gets killed. And so they tie this like back to the Trump raid, as if like this guy is so distraught. He's like such a big loyal Trump supporter that he got mad at the FBI for raiding Trump's house and decided to go take matters into his own hands with a nail gun. It just doesn't add up to me, and it sounds like complete bullshit. I mean, do you guys really think any Trump lover is actually going to go do that? I've met real Trump lovers, and they aren't that stupid. Like, they aren't stupid enough to take a nail gun and go to the FBI headquarters. No, they're more likely to, like, go to Walmart and buy a bunch of crap and then, like, go take their boat out to the lake and listen to country music or something. So, rather than this. Like, a Trump supporter... An actual real Trump supporter isn't really doing shit like this, but they're trying to make it out like the deep state's attacking Trump, man, to give validation to the Q-tards and the Trump supporters who believe in that sort of shit. And then they have these events to trick the sheeple at home into believing that just regular old right-wingers are this pissed off that they're threatening and attacking the FBI. How mad would you have to be like, I'm so angry, I'm going to march down to that FBI office with my nail gun, and I'm going to try and shoot him and then get away and then commit suicide. It's just stupid. It's like these stories that they come up with. It's like nobody really cares that much. Nobody cares about some other person's house being raided that much to where they're going to threaten the entire law enforcement agency. I just don't believe it. Right? I'm not making any threats. I'm not threatening anyone. I just think it's bullshit and fake. All right, so we'll go ahead and finish this up.
Arrived were the sheriff's department. They showed up on the scene very early, and then they left, and these other federal agencies then took over. Again, the Ohio State Patrol involved in all this. So, but the one thing that they wanted to make sure at this point, FBI says, even though there was a potential threat here earlier today, that there is no threat to the area, and the person that was involved in this is now up there where Karen is on that scene. So everything's under control here. However, they are collecting every piece of evidence they can to try and tie this person to what's happening up there. They'll have to do all that in order to make this case solid against them. They will have other things like cameras. There's a number of cameras here on every corner of the building. So it'll be a evidence collection process as they get through this, and it could take some time. Again, this is all still developing. We'll continue to keep you posted as we receive new details. Reporting live, Brian Hemrick, WLWT News 5.
And Brian, we got the statement from the FBI just a short time ago. They referenced that the person attempted to breach the visitor screening facility. You mentioned earlier this morning, this is a fairly new building. Do we think that helped de-escalate the situation there faster?
Well, it would have been very difficult for this person to get in. I mean, if they would have tried to climb the fence here, that would take some time to get up over that fence and some effort. So that would definitely stall someone out. You got to go through this building here. I'm sure the glass and everything in here is secure. So, yeah, I'm certain that the security measures here in trying to keep people they don't want in out had a lot to do with this person not getting into the facility. But again, it looks like whatever, they may have touched this glass, they may have had their hands on it, but there's a lot of interest in what's on the outside of the window here. So they may be looking at getting fingerprints off of that, whatever they can do to try and figure out, who this was. And then once we figure out who this is, determine why it happened. Kelly?
All right, Brian Hamrick, and we are expecting to get updates from many of these different scenes. So as we get them, we will bring them to everyone. Brian, of course, if we get an update from the FBI, we will bring that to you here live on WLWT.
All right, so you guys see already they're making the connection that regular Trump supporters are so angry that Trump's house got raided that they're going down to the FBI office and, attacking the FBI. And not just that, just threats across the board from just people threatening openly the FBI. Yeah, right. I don't believe that. Javid says if rebels really attacked the FBI, it probably wouldn't be on the news unless they want it to be. Yeah, it's not on the television unless they definitely want it to be on the television. So if it was something that they didn't want to be public and wanted to sweep under the rug, then they would. And there are no rebels who are that, I don't want to say brave, but that stupid that they would go to the FBI office. I mean, if you had a death wish, there's a number of different ways you could go out and taking a nail gun to the FBI, but then somehow getting in your car and going on a pursuit. That just, none of that makes sense. I don't think that if you whipped out a nail gun in the FBI office that you would make it outside and then to your car, or any sort of gun or anything that looked like a gun. If you did anything weird in an FBI office, I don't think that you would make it back out to your car and be able to lead anyone on a chase at that point. I just think, and then they had perfect reason to lock down everyone in the area. You see how they stressed that, you know, everyone's on lockdown, don't come out of your house. So now they can use these, you know, any event to just tell you to lock down. So police are on high alert because police say that police are getting threatened. The mainstream news says it and police say it, so therefore it must be true, right? Not in my opinion. Therefore it must be untrue. Saul said it's almost as ridiculous as a lot of the hollow hoax stories. Maybe the same writers. Yeah, I completely agree with that statement, Saul. Sharp as ever. And then we had one from Javid a while ago that I missed while I had the clip playing. It says it's good cop, bad cop psychology, Trump being the good cop. Yeah, being the good cop in the eyes of the Q-tards and Trump-tards. So he's not the good cop in the eyes of libtards. See what I mean? So when they air these stories, they have to think of how libtards are going to look at it and then how Trump-tards are going to look at it. And so when they make it out like Trump's house is being raided, the libtards are like, yeah, good. Fuck that guy. I'm glad his house is being raided. I always knew he was a nasty nugget son of a bitch. And then the Trump-tards are like, the deep state's going after him. I done told you that the deep state's trying to bring down Trump. Trump's down there in the tunnels right now saving them kids down there in the tunnels, trying to stop all this child abduction. He's trying to save the world, gonna make America great again. And the deep state's over there raiding this freaking house, stealing out of the safe and shit. See, that they have those two retarded groups that they get to trick at once with this operation. And then from there, see, it doesn't stop there. Then they can say that random dude who loves Trump takes this nail gun to the FBI office and shoots up the FBI office with a nail gun, right? And that there's lots of people online, tons of crazy Trump lovers online, making threats against the FBI right now, man. Okay. So it doesn't stop there, folks. You think it stops there? You think that's all I got for you? No, it's not all I got for you. Not all I got for you. Got another one here for you. Another piece of evidence.
Turning to breaking news, officials say the suspect who attacked an FBI field office in Cincinnati has been killed in a law enforcement operation. NBC News is reporting he was also identified as at the Capitol on January 6th. The wider context for this is
Did you hear that, folks? The suspect has been killed. The Cincinnati suspect has been killed in a standoff in an FBI operation or a police operation. He used the word operation. And it also, that same guy was at the January 6th event. How about that, man? How about that? Don't you love it? Don't you love it when all the evidence just stacks up the way it does? Globe Vandal, what's up, buddy? Thank you for the donation. I appreciate that. It's very kind of you. No super chat, just a donation. And then I got another one coming in from Javid. Let me pull that one up. So Javid says the FBI building near me is somehow futuristic bomb-proof building. It was filmed on the Epstein documentary. You can't just walk up in there. Yeah, everything about it is ridiculous. And so it turns out he was also at the January 6th event. And the guy, that's so funny, he says law enforcement operation. I love that. So we'll go ahead and watch this clip again. But listen carefully to the terms that they use and how they talk about the ramifications of this scenario playing out and how they tie it back to those other events. It's it's so obvious, but of course, people at home, you know, they don't look at this cross-eyed at all. It's just another day being brainwashed at the office, really. All right, you guys will love this.
Turning to breaking news, officials say the suspect who attacked an FBI field office in Cincinnati has been killed in a law enforcement operation. NBC News is reporting he was also identified as at the Capitol on January 6th. The wider context for this attack on an FBI field office is well known, while authorities stress they are still, of course, investigating the possible motives and objective of this individual. We begin with NBC News Justice reporter Ryan Riley. Ryan, what do authorities know about the incident?
So this was an individual with a nail gun. Based on his post on social media, he basically has tried to attack the office with a nail gun and then was later killed. It's not clear how long it took for him. He was apparently wounded at one point and then might have bled out. But what I've learned from other sources who are and then was later killed. It's not clear how long it took for him. He was apparently wounded at one point and then might have bled out. But this was an individual with a nail gun. Based on his post on social media.
So there you have it. It's just he was armed with a nail gun, and he liked to post on social media. This is the thing they're pushing nowadays, is that these attackers, these shooters, that they posted some sort of controversial content before they did that horrific thing that they supposedly did. They were doing something on Facebook Live, or they were doing something here using YouTube live streaming or Twitch live streaming. So what they're going to do is they're going to crack down on live streaming. And of course, guys like me, of course, and anyone in general live streaming the truth. Any one of you, whoever wants to, like, you know, live stream the truth, this is a direct attack on that. So what we're going to see is these platforms catering to security. That's what they're going to claim. And they're not going to allow just anybody to say just anything anymore. You're not even allowed to have an opinion. So this is just one step closer towards doing away with free speech and implementing their security measures across all the social media platforms, which we know are run by the man to begin with. So we already know that Facebook is so Facebook is run by the man. But what they can do with these events is they can say, well, this radical Trump supporter, you know, before he went and did this horrific event, he was posting on social media. Oh, he was live streaming and talking about it in conspiracy chat rooms with conspiracy theorists. See what they're doing here, folks? You gotta see their charade and start connecting the dots. And the dots connect pretty easily. So this guy was supposedly also at the Capitol on January 6th. What are the odds, man? I'd say pretty good.
He basically has tried to attack the office with a nail gun and then was later killed. It's not clear how long it took for him. He was apparently wounded at one point and then might have bled out. But what I've learned from other sources who are close to a lot of the online sleuthing community that has been working a lot of this January 6th case, these January 6th investigations, is that he was on the grounds of the Capitol on January 6th. There's no indication that he went inside the building, but we do know based on his own public pronouncements and as well as from what sleuths have found is that he was on the grounds of the Capitol that day.
Right, and that gives information, background on his profile, his activities. Again, authorities, journalists not yet able to directly draw a link. Indeed, as I think viewers know from following these often tragic breaking news incidents, it can take a long time for authorities to develop with confidence an individual's motive. The background, though, relevant, just as the week that this occurs is relevant. Indeed, at the highest levels of the FBI, we have heard these kind of concerns, not with regard to this incident. Again, folks can tell I'm being very precise about a breaking news incident, but in general, FBI Director Chris Wray speaking about these kind of threats just this week. Let's hear that.
And any threats made against law enforcement, including the men and women of the FBI, as with any law enforcement agency, are deplorable and dangerous. We have in this country had over the last few years an alarming rise in violence against law enforcement.
How does this week?
Oh, poor law enforcement. Oh, anyone who makes any sort of threats against law enforcement are just despicable. Oh yeah, almost as despicable as pulling psychological operations on the public and then lying about the threats made against you. I'd say it's almost as despicable as that, but not quite as bad as what you're doing. Lying to the public with a psychological operation where you also lie about the threats made against the police officers in the FBI. Here's the thing, I'm going to say it again. I don't think it's real. I'm not threatening anyone. I love everyone. I would never threaten anyone. I just absolutely love everyone. God bless everyone. However, I think that this is bullshit. And I'm allowed to think that. And this is for entertainment purposes only, and I'm a comedian. In fact, this is a comedy routine for entertainment purposes only. And if you disagree with it, well, you can go do your own investigation and come to your own conclusions and post that on your channel. And if you don't like what I have to say, well, you can pull out a little piece of paper and then you can write down your opinion and then you can crumple it up and shove it up your ass. All right. So you guys see like where they're taking this? You guys see like how this thing snowballs? Trump's house gets fake raided. And then you have a guy with a nail gun fake shoot up the FBI office, right? Which leads to lots of fake threats to the FBI. All right, let's continue down this road. Where are they going with this?
Figure into what is clearly a time where much of law enforcement is on high alert, and the airwaves, particularly in the right-wing community as well as online, are full of, as we reported on some of the dangerous rhetoric last night, some very inflammatory rhetoric and direct calls to action against crimes against law enforcement.
It's a lot. And, you know, what's remarkable about it is that there hasn't been a lot of information that any of this is based off of, right? It's all not based off of, no one's seen the underlying warrant and whether it was based in something that should be investigated. They're all just sort of taking Trump's word on this and saying that it's, you know, following his lead and sort of this is an unfair attack. The FBI is out to get him without actually looking at the underlying facts of this because no one's been able to see that. We might be able to see that in the next few days, but there's already such an online surge of these threats and talks about civil war, as we reported along with Ben Collins earlier this week. It's a really threatening environment. And we saw this sort of play out for what it seems like. I mean, by every indication, this was someone who's very much in Trump's orbit. It was there January 6th. So I think it's something that it's sort of the worst case scenario, I think, for a lot of law enforcement folks who are worried about what the impact of Donald Trump's rhetoric will be. And as we saw play out on January 6th itself, it's sort of another indication of that.
So there you see where they're taking this narrative that there's, you know, this huge following for Trump, and they're all so outraged that the FBI raided his house that some of them are going to take matters into their own house, or into their own hands, I should say, take a nail gun and go down to the FBI office with a nail gun, just shoot him up, and then lead him on a high-speed chase, which results in death. How tragic. What a story. Saul says with a donation, but he had a military-style, fully semi-automatic nail gun with 30-round magazine clip in half a second. He wouldn't stop firing nails. It just seemed like a movie. It seemed like make-believe. He marched right in there and said, I love Trump. I love worshiping the red Cheeto orange man's balls. deedly dee, and then he whipped out a nail gun and just began firing everywhere, and then he pulled out another banana clip of nails and just continued. It was an AR style nail gun. Alright. We need to do something about this. We need to do something about this. We need to call for legislation that doesn't allow Trump supporters to have nail guns. Okay? Alright. There you go. That should lead to some laughing emojis from Jonna. Some smiling and laughing emojis from Sailing the Honey Badger. And LOL from Jay Warren. Yeah. See, it is a comedy routine, which is why people are laughing out loud when I perform. See? It's a comedy routine for entertainment purposes only. Now, you can disagree with any portion of this. So if you do, I highly recommend that you go do your own investigation and then you show your work and do a stream of your own and post it on your channel. All right. Adrian Chetwin says, Hilti gun nails are for real. Thanks for the donation. That's all I'll say to that. All right. Sailing the Honey Badger says, Elmo would be pissed. I don't even think Elmo would believe this shit.
Elmo is so angry that Trump's house is being raided by the FBI that Elmo's gonna march on down to the FBI office and Elmo's gonna pull his nail gun out and, never mind. Just kidding.
See there? I don't want Elmo to make a threat and then have the FBI think that somehow they have probable cause to raid me because I threatened them with Elmo's voice, right? I think that's going to be leading to some more laughing emojis. Lola J, laughing emoji. PJ CNET says lol. Lola J. Already did that. Angst G. Oof-matic. Joseph Fallon says that was funny. Let's see. Loretti29 says almost 100 likes. Speaking of, if you guys want me to continue breaking down these shenanigans, I got more for you. Smash the thumbs up. Show me you guys like the stream, that you're entertained. I got more for you. I got more evidence. I got more clips. Would you guys like me to continue? If you would, smash the thumbs up so that it helps Al Gore get into rhythm and we can break down this world stage in style. All right. Come on, baby. Let's get up to like 125 thumbs up, and then we'll continue. Oh, and I guess I missed the chat from Javid. Go back and rustle up that chat. Javid said, reminds me of when Lanza somehow walked up to the school like the Terminator in daylight, and no one saw it, no footage of it, despite the cameras. Okay, so this next event I'm going to show you, thank you for the donation, Javid. It's similar where you don't get that footage. So this next event, you're going to be like, where's the footage? Like this event, where's the footage, right? I would like to see how that whole thing transpired. This next one I'm going to show you also ties back to the Trump raid. There's another guy who's so upset that Trump's house got raided that he decided he's going to get in his car, drive it into a barricade that was specifically set up for Trump supporters to barricade them, right? So it was specifically set up for the Trump supporters, and the guy decided he's going to drive his car into the barricade. Wait for it. Get out of the car. Set his own car on fire. Pull out a handgun, fire it in the air, then take his own life. You guys ready? You think I'm just making this shit up? I'm not making this shit up, but they are. They're totally going to tell you that right here and right now. Let's go ahead and jump into this one. This is even more fantastic than that last news event that you just watched.
Now a look at some top stories we are following tonight. A man is dead after crashing into a barricade outside the U.S. Capitol complex, then turning a gun on himself. This as federal agencies are on guard against threats and possible violence. Abby Larico has what we know and what we're learning from the Hill.
It was just after 4 o'clock Sunday morning.
A vehicle collided with a barricade on East Capitol Street at 2nd Street.
Sunday afternoon, police identified the driver as Richard A. York III, a 29-year-old from Delaware. Capitol Police say after crashing into the barricade, he apparently got out and set the car on fire before shooting his handgun into the air several times.
One of our officers observed him.
Capitol Police say after crashing into the barricade, he apparently got out and set the car on fire before shooting his handgun into the air several times.
One of
Look at this shit, y'all. Look at this. They show you this picture of this car, and they're like, this suspect drove to the Capitol and crashed his car into this barrier. And then he got out and he set his own car on fire. And then he pulled out a firearm and shot it in the air. Uh-huh. Footage, please? This is one of those situations where I gotta see this. Footage, please? No. No footage, please. No. Like always. But look at the story. And guess what? It's another one of those guys who's mad that Trump's house got raided. Now, let me ask you, how much do you have to love Trump to be like, what? Trump's house got raided? I'm going to get in my car right now and go smash into a barricade, and then I'm going to set my own car on fire, and then I'm going to fire the gun in the air, and then I'm going to kill myself. Yeah, that'll totally fix the world. That'll totally send a message to everyone. Like, who does that? That doesn't make any sense. If you're going to kill yourself, you just go ahead and whip out a gun and you kill yourself. You don't need to, like, crash your car into a barricade, light your own car on fire. Like, what? Huh? And then fire in the air and then kill yourself? Just ridiculous, you guys. Like, do you understand, like, that one Trump's house being raided event has snowballed into this? This is what they're going with now. Javid says these prop cars never have plates. Yeah, that car, right? Oh, good call. I didn't even think about that. Good call. Yeah, the plate must have melted off. It had one of those paper plates, man. Because nowadays they have those like paper, plastic looking plates, right? And it just melted off. Good eye, Javid. Yeah, in my opinion, they could have like took a car that was actually in a fire like months ago, a year ago, 10 years ago, and then just stick it right there, and then just proceed to make up the rest of it. How the fuck would you know, right? They don't even need to go through the whole lighting it on fire ordeal. I think like you can like stick a car there, put some like burnt crap underneath it to make it look like it's melted into the ground, do a little CGI touch up, and then you got a really cool picture. This doesn't even have to be real. Now, they could have went the extra mile and actually like brought a real car there and like set it on fire. But I'm saying like they don't even have to do that. Like they're going to like lie and set this whole thing up. Like they could have just brought this like prop car in. You'd be like, yeah, that's what this crazy Trump lover did. He loved Trump so much that he crashed his car into a barricade and set it on fire and then killed himself. Well, okay. Because he loves Trump so much, and he's so angry that his house got... Even Trump didn't do that. See, Trump's not upset enough to go do something stupid like this, but his followers are? Get out of here, man. Give me a break.
Our officers observed him put the gun to his head and shoot himself.
Chief Tom Manger says no one else was hurt and none of the responding officers used their weapons. We reviewed York's record, which includes charges for drugs.
Officers observed him put the gun to his head and shoot himself.
Chief Tom Manger says no one else was hurt and none of the responding officers used their weapons. We reviewed York's record, which includes charges for drugs, assault, burglary, and making terroristic threats.
We, law enforcement, observed him put the gun to his head and, kill himself. Oh, okay. Law enforcement didn't shoot him. Law enforcement didn't shoot him, no. He shot himself. And they witnessed it. And then they looked into his criminal record, and what did they find on his criminal record? Let's see. Drugs, assault, burglary, making terroristic threats. Wow, what are the odds? A guy who makes terroristic threats online just so happened to crash his car, started on fire, and then police witnessed him put the gun to his head and kill himself. Guys, come on, let's think about this. How many police are going to stand around not shooting at a guy who just lit his car on fire? If he lit his car on fire and then whipped out a gun and then starts firing it in the air, most police would pull their weapon out, say put the gun down, and then they would wait a half second and then they would just start firing. Let's be honest. Most police, this is what they do. They fire first and then they ask questions later, right? They're not going to have to like really answer for their actions if they make a mistake. They get slapped on the wrist at the most. So if a guy, let's say, crashes his car into a barricade, you're going to take notice. And then if he gets out and then lights it on fire, now you're definitely going to take notice. You're going to have your weapon drawn if you're a policeman, and you're going to tell the guy to get down. And if you see that guy pull out a gun, then you're automatically just going to start firing. But apparently he fires in the air, and then he puts it to his own head, and the police totally just like watch him kill himself. But they didn't kill him. Sure. Okay, so far, let's count this up. Trump's house gets raided, and then you have a guy go to the FBI office with the nail gun, lead him on a chase, and it ended up in a standoff where the police kill him. And now you have this other dude who also loves Trump so much that he decided to crash his car, start it on fire, and then kill himself. And so you have two guys dead because they love Trump so much and they're so mad about his house. They're so mad about his house, man. They're just so mad about his house being raided that they just have to end their own life. They don't see a reason to live anymore. They want to go out in grandiose fashion, such as this. Saul says, tree next to burning car has no scorches. It's a miracle. Oh, good call. Adrian Chitwin says, search for Hilti gun nails powder. Actuated. Hilti guns nails. Okay, if you insist. Hilti guns. I'm looking at it right now. Hold on. Hilti guns, nails, powder, actuated. Okay, why'd you tell me to look that up? It is pretty cool looking. All right, I'm not sure why you wanted me to look that up. But maybe this is what I'm not exactly sure what kind of nail gun the guy had, but maybe that is. But I'll show you what I just looked at, so you guys aren't left in the dark. I think this is what he wants me to share. Right? Is this it? Is that what you want me to show? It's pretty expensive nail gun. Caesar Beltrance's Hilti Weapons of Mass Destruction. He just kept on firing nails. He wouldn't stop firing nails. We should have laws in place that makes getting nail guns illegal. If anybody can get their hand on a nail gun, they might go to a school and shoot the children. There you go. This is a new one. Nail gun? I haven't seen them use that one yet. They're like, you know what? We're tired of just regular gun, AR, assault rifle. Let's like really brain fuck them and say that this Trump supporter showed up to the FBI office with a nail gun, right? He was gonna nail them all, man. Fucking it's gonna nail them all. Yeah, right. So stupid. Okay, did I miss any more super chats? I think I got them. Then we'll move on. I got a little bit more to show you. Adrian Chetwin says, no way would a car bonnet fly up if it hits a wall. Oh, you mean the hood? Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, the whole thing just looks super staged. We'll go ahead and finish up the car video real quick. Check it out. Making terroristic threats. Just so happens he used his social media to make threats, and then, of course, he acted upon them.
In the state of Pennsylvania. Still, police say there's no immediate connection to the U.S. Capitol.
We've had no contact with him, but we're working with the FBI and other state and local agencies.
We're told, according to security footage of the incident and officers on scene, the man wasn't wearing anything and didn't say anything to indicate why he did what he did before ending his own life.
We're doing a scrub of social media and certainly running through all the databases that we have.
And finding out the why is especially important considering when this happened. The FBI is reporting a high number of threats facing the agency following the raid on former President Trump's Mar-a-Lago home last week. The investigation into the January 6th attack on the Capitol is ongoing. And in another instance of a car ramming a Capitol barricade last spring, Capitol officer Billy Evans was killed. Police say it doesn't appear anyone in Congress was a target, as they're currently in recess. Chief Manger says the officers working on the Hill are and will remain extra vigilant.
I think, like law enforcement nationwide, we are on a higher alert. That was one of the reasons I think that we were able to respond as quickly as we did.
From Capitol Hill, Abby Larico, WUSA 9.
All right, so there you have it with that event right there, right? Also, that they're going to watch. They're going to tie that right back to Trump as well, to his house being raided. All right, so we got Javid with the super chat that I missed a while ago, and I'm going to go back and try and find a few others I think I missed. So Tupac and Suge Knight, he's referring to, in a car on the death scene, didn't have plates either. I think it's so then we can't trace it. Yes, the Tupac death. I believe that he definitely faked his death. Definitely some weird stuff with the Tupac death. All right, and then Saul, I believe, said that he had a super chat a while back. Let's see if I can go rustle it up. Go back as far as I can. I don't like if I miss a super chat. I feel bad if somebody spends the money. They want me to read it on the screen. Another one from Javid. I got this one. Must have been before that one. Ah, found it. All right. Thank you for holding out while I find your comment, buddy. Says Saul Rosenberg says CNN. The subject ran into a Home Depot to reload, where he was killed by loss prevention for shoplifting while white. Ah, bit of pain. Good one. Glad I went back and got that one. Thanks for the donation, buddy. I like your jokes. They're funny. All right. And Adrian says Hilti guns are literally powered by bullets. Are literally powered by bullets. I don't get what you mean. I don't know shit about the nail guns, bro. So it's all new to me. I'll take your word for it. Thank you for the donations. All right, so let me go ahead and get to some more of this evidence, because it doesn't stop there. You think that that's it? Not quite. Check this out. So we got this news report that just came out. Says Pennsylvania man arrested for threats against FBI after Mar-a-Lago search. So this is a third dude now. And this is like, as I was setting up for the stream, this one happened. So this is breaking news, up to the day, up to the minute breaking news. You got a third suspect now arrested for threats against the FBI. So now the FBI can be like, there's all these Trump supporters out there. So many Trump supporters. And they're just online making threats against us. And so now we have to be on a heightened level of awareness and alertness. And we have to heighten security, you know, especially around the Capitol. We're going to have to put up barricades and stuff because Trump supporters are flying off the handle and going crazy and trying to attack police and stuff. See? See? And of course, liberals are going to be like, yeah, Trump supporters are total evil pieces of shit. Of course they're doing that. I hate Trump supporters, and I hate Trump. And then meanwhile, the Trumpers and the Q-tards are like, it's the deep state. The deep state's attacking our boy. He's down there trying to save the children right now, and the deep state's raiding his freaking house and robbing his safe. Adrian Chetwin says, delivered in plastic sleeves. Oh, you still talking about the nail guns? Like I said, I don't know shit about those nail guns, bro. So you could totally just like make up anything about how they work, and I'd probably believe you. I don't know shit about the nail guns. Bub's Cat says, with a donation, says protests in quotes at Phoenix F pre-crime memo came out. agitprop comeback. Or agitprop. Yeah, also, I noticed that, like, 6 years ago today, I released a video that got, like, banned from YouTube. It was like 6 years ago today, or maybe yesterday. I released a video banned by YouTube. I drove off the top of my head right now. A guy drove to a stage protest, and there were like these actors pretending to get. Okay, that was fun. That was fun, wasn't it? It seems that the folks too maybe didn't like what we had to say there. So they were like down through the stream, I noticed, and then it just kicked me. So I had to like restart my. So, that's cool. They didn't completely cut the stream, so we're still going. So let's try this one more time. Because, like I said, this is up to the second breaking news. Oh, cleared out my windows that I had open. Okay. Okay. So let me show you what's happening. Okay, so you see they're saying that the top stories right now, if you Google FBI threats, that there's a spike in people threatening the FBI. And I don't believe that for a second. I think that's just horseshit that they're making up. And so they're really running hard with this story that the common man, the common Trump supporter, is so angry that they're openly threatening the Federal Bureau of Investigation. I just don't believe that. I don't think people are that dumb. Even dumb people who watch the news and are brainwashed, I don't think they're going to openly threaten the FBI. People might run their mouths and say some stupid shit amongst their friends, or maybe even online, but come on, like, nobody's really openly threatening the FBI. And so for them to push this story that there's this huge uptick in FBI threats, I just don't believe it. So you can see that this is like a top story all the news outlets are running with, right? So you see 4 hours ago, 5 hours ago, 7 hours ago, ABC, CNN, all the major outlets all running with this crap. FBI boosts security. GOP wants Mar-a-Lago search details. FBI investigated unprecedented number of threats against Bureau. See where they're going with this, guys? See how they take this one event and then they snowball it? Yes, for those of you who noticed, I had a little bit of technical difficulties. They just down throttled the stream and kicked me out of StreamYards, and then my computer wouldn't reload the website, so I had to restart my computer. But I'm back now, and so the stream's still going. All right, so you guys see how they're taking this event, a fake raid on a world stage puppet, and then they're now claiming that there's these crazy right-wingers who love the puppet so much that they're taking their own life and attacking police and making towards police. I don't believe any of that, not for a second. Andy said people are not really that pissed. Yeah, see, even the hardcore Q-tards and Trump supporters aren't gonna be that ridiculous. They're more likely to just say some stupid shit to their friends or online, but they're not gonna actually go take matters into their own hands because let's face it, Trump's still alive. He's still gonna run for president, and in my opinion, he'll probably be president again. I could totally see him being the president again. And so why would you be so angry if you love Trump so much that if you think the deep state's raiding his house that you're going to crash your own car or start your car on fire and then kill yourself? None of this makes sense. You're going to take a nail gun to the FBI office. You're going to openly threaten police. No, I just don't believe it for a second. And that I'm allowed to have my opinion. And like I said, I'm not making any threats to anyone. I love everyone, would never threaten anyone ever. So don't anyone mistake anything I've said here today as me making any sort of threats, because I'm totally not. See how I made sure to cover that ground? Make that's out there in the open. All right. So, this event doesn't look like it's done snowballing yet, so I could definitely see over this whole week a whole string of events where FBI agents, police, what have you, are threatened from all different interesting characters. And so, as you can see, they're ramping operation here, which involves many operations, and there's a lot of manpower and a lot of effort going into this. And so it should be interesting to see throughout the rest of this week what they have in store for us. It looks like we might get, who knows, maybe an entire string of similar events like this, and they can really put this narrative in people's minds that, your common Trump supporter has the potential to do something like show up to a FBI office with a nail gun or crash their car and start it on fire and all that mess. So interesting to see where they're going to take this. Eric H says, what's RFB's thinking about this?
All right. How's it going, YouTube? First, I want to say, the suspect was not carrying a regular nail gun, all right? It was actually powered, all right? You're not going to believe this. It was powered by the Antichrist. He was carrying the nail gun of the demon lord Antichrist from down below, right? Now, what he wanted to do, but he was incapable of doing, is he wanted to rid the world of the evil law enforcement. But what he didn't understand were the Chinese drones, all right? They were waiting for him, all right? He had to escape, and he couldn't escape because the Chinese drones are just too... I mean, let's be honest, all right? If you don't buy my Patriot food supply right now, then you're probably going to end up just like this guy, all right? I've been telling you for years, and everything I've ever said has always come true, all right? So you're going to want to buy as much of my food supply you could possibly... I got something in my eye. I got something in my eye right here. You're going to want to buy as much as you possibly can, all right? Before it's all gone. We know that they're going to take out the food system, all right? We know they're going to control the food. So if you're sitting on a pile of 50,000 bags of lab-made powder, you're going to get to live that much longer, all right? Take my advice and don't. Richie from Boston, I'm out.
I just made that up. It made about as much sense as we were told by the news. That story that I just made up with Richie from Boston makes about as much sense as what the news told us. Rose says, thanks for the update. You are the only source I trust. Well, I'm the only source I trust too. See how that works? Javid says, favorite movie soundtrack, movie Unbreakable. Track is named Orange Man. Ah. Well, thank you for the donation, Javid. Thank you for that information. Saul says, dude, I was just going to ask the same question. Well, there you go, man.
But at any rate, I digress. It was a certain rate at which I digress. But anyway, that's what I would digress, is at that rate. Does anybody know at which rate is the proper weight at which one should digress?
Looks like I'm not coming in very clear. People say I'm fuzzy, glitchy. Yeah. Looks like they messed with this stream today. We've had a number of streams go really well, but it seems today we got a little too close to the truth. That happens. All right, guys. Well, if you're me out, then we can wrap it up tonight before this one drags on too long, and we'll see if tomorrow, next day, they roll with some new events, and then I'll cover that. So I basically covered what I wanted to, and I don't want to have the stream glitch out a bunch of times because that's basically, I got through all the information I needed to. So if you missed any part, go back and rewatch, and I'll be keeping an eye on the world stage, and if anything happens tomorrow, the next day, I'll be here to expose that as well. So, all right, guys, thank you for joining me, and thank you for the donations and the comments coming in tonight. Jonna said, love your show. You and Rusty keep cool this week. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe tomorrow I might head over to the coast because it's supposed to be like 108 degrees here where I live. And so I might head to the coast, Santa Cruz area, Monterey or something, where it's supposed to be like 70. It's like a 40-degree difference. And so, yeah, I'll probably be heading over to the ocean and avoiding this heat, seeing what happens on the world stage, and then I'll be quick to expose it when it goes. Thank you, Jonna, for the donation. I appreciate it as always. You're too kind. Thank you to all my mods and everyone who showed up, everyone who commented, everyone who donated, everyone who watched. Thank you very much. I'm going to be keeping an eye on this, and I hope you guys do too, so we can all figure out what's going to happen on this big shit show they call the world stage. So until next time, this is Jake the Asshole signing out. Y'all have a wonderful night. Peace.